Good afternoon, my dear students. We'll continue with the next session of Module 3, that is photovoltaic cells. Photovoltaic cells, they are solar cells. So to study about photovoltaic cells, we'll see solar energy first. So what is solar energy? Solar energy means the energy that is derived from sun. So sunlight, it is so abundant on our earth, and if sunlight, if it is utilized properly, it can meet the world energy demand, and the energy available, it is renewable and environmental friendly for all species on the planet. Now solar energy, it can be utilized in two ways. That is, first one is direct solar power. Here single step transformation is taking place. Okay, that is solar energy, it will be converted either into electricity or into heat energy or into another form of energy, but only in one step. An example is photovoltaic cell. Here solar energy, it is getting converted to electricity. And another example is solar heaters, where sunlight, it is getting converted to heat energy. Okay, so in these two, only single step transformation is taking place, and that is the utilization, it is called direct solar power. Now second one is indirect solar power. Here it involves multi-step transformation into useful forms. Say for example, plants, they make use of sunlight to produce chemical energy through the process of photosynthesis, and these plants, they could be converted to biofuels to produce electricity. So here multi-step transformation is taking place. Similarly, in case of fossil fuels also, plants, they will absorb sunlight, and during the process of photosynthesis, when these plants die, and after millions of years, they are getting converted to fossil fuels. So there also the energy, it is obtained from sun. That is sunlight, it is getting converted to other forms of energy. Okay, so that is multi-step transformation. Okay, so sunlight, it can be utilized in two ways, either direct utilization or indirect utilization, where multi-step transformation of sunlight to other forms of energy is taking place. Now let us see photovoltaic cells. What are photovoltaic cells? Photovoltaic cells, they are solar cells, and they are made up of semiconductor devices which will convert sunlight into electricity. So photovoltaic cells, they are solar cells which consist of semiconductor devices which will convert sunlight into electricity. Now what do you mean by semiconductor devices? Semiconductor devices means, what do you mean by semiconductor? Semiconductor means materials whose conductivity lies between those of conductors and insulators. And examples for semiconductors are silicon and germanium. Okay, now when this silicon, when it is doped with arsenic or phosphorus, it results in the formation of N-type semiconductor. But if the silicon or germanium, if it is doped with a group 3 element, that is boron, say for example, then the semiconductor thus obtained, it is called a P-type semiconductor. So semiconductor means whose conductivity lies between that of insulators and conductors, and semiconductors, they are of two types, N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. In N-type semiconductor, it is obtained by doping with impurities such as arsenic or phosphorus, whereas P-type semiconductor, it is obtained by doping with impurities such as boron. Okay, now photovoltaic cells, they are based on the principle of photoelectric effect. That is, the ability of certain elements to emit electrons when electromagnetic radiation of sufficient energy falls on it. Okay, now sunlight, it is made up of photons, and energy of a photon, it is given by Planck's equation as E is equal to h nu, where h is a Planck's constant and nu, it is a frequency of radiation. mu is equal to C by lambda. Therefore, this expression it becomes E is equal to hc by lambda. That is energy of a photon. It is equal to hc by lambda, where c is the velocity of the radiation and lambda is the wavelength of the radiation. Okay. So, the energy of photon is given by this expression E is equal to hc by lambda.
To see the construction and working of a photovoltaic cell. A photovoltaic cell has a thin layer of N-type silicon and a thin layer of P-type silicon joined together. When an N-type and P-type silicon, when they are joined together, it results in the formation of a PN junction diode. Okay. Now, this photovoltaic cell has two electrical contacts. That is, one, it is in the form of a metallic grid on top of N-type semiconductor. It will serve as a negative terminal, and the other, it is a layer of noble metal which is attached to the P-type silicon or P-type semiconductor that will serve as a positive terminal. Okay, and both the terminals, they are connected to an external source. Now, the top surface of N-type semiconductor between the grids, it is coated with an anti-reflection coating. This anti-reflection coating, it is done either using silicon nitride or titanium dioxide. And this anti-reflective layer, it will increase the amount of light that is transmitted to the semiconductor. Okay, so this is the construction of a photovoltaic cell. Now let us see the working. When light of sufficient energy, when it is incident on the PN junction diode, electrons will be ejected from the P-type semiconductor or P-type silicon. So here electrons as well as electron hole pair will be formed. Okay, and this electron, it will move towards the N-type end, whereas the holes, they will move towards the P-type end. And as this PN junction, it will allow the movement of electrons only in one direction. Electrons will be moving only towards the N-type end. And these electrons, they will move through the outer circuit and will be reaching the P-type end, where again they will combine with the holes. Okay. Now, as there is the flow of electrons in the outer circuit, there will be a flow of current in the external circuit. That is, photoelectric current will be produced in the external circuit. So this is the working of a photovoltaic cell. Now let us see the advantages of photovoltaic cells. They generate solar power at low cost and therefore it is more economical. Then they require less maintenance. They are found to be environmental friendly, and here no recharging is required. So these are the advantages of photovoltaic cells. Now coming to the disadvantages, they work only in presence of sunlight and high installation cost is required. Less power will be generated during cloudy weather because photovoltaic cells, they will work only in presence of sunlight. Then they occupy larger space and often dust accumulates over the panels, thereby reducing the efficiency. So these are the disadvantages of photovoltaic cells. So that is all for today's class. Thank you.